another video or our first video. This is a video podcast, something that I've been wanting to do a long time. So I'm glad that Algernon finally got it started, sat down for me to start it. So yeah, I'm Shatera, and what's your name?
My name is Algernon.
Algernon who?
Algernon Cooper.
Yeah. So
and we are
finally the Coopers. Finally.
So today we're going to be talking about
our story on how we met.
I hope y'all got some popcorn.
Yeah, talk about it.
And some tea.
So I'll let Algernon get started since he's the man and he pursued me. Yes?
I found her on MySpace.
Twitter.
I know.
Oh.
I'm joking.
Oh.
She was at the crack house and I was coming out of revival and I said, hey, put down your crack woman. We began interacting on Twitter and shortly thereafter, well, a couple of months after that, we met in person. Shay came to a service that I was preaching at, and I met her afterwards. We talked for a cool minute.
A second.
Okay, I wasn't feeling well. I don't want to get you sick. I was sweaty and wet from preaching. So she says that I was very dismissive.
He treated me like a groupie.
Whatever.
What do they call the church girls? Church groupies.
Anyways, like I said, I wasn't feeling well, and I was sweaty and wet from preaching, so I wanted to get changed and dry clothes or what have you. So that first meeting didn't go too well. I don't think neither one of us were too fond of each other afterwards.
Well, we were still okay, just nothing romantically. I was just like, yeah, he gonna be my friend. Mm-hmm.
She friends on me. But look at where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, baby later.
Yeah.
Hey, Amari. Hey, mama.
Oh, yeah, so this is our daughter, Amari.
Yes, who's not
taking her
feeling
nap. So
real friendly right now.
Well, it's you, but she's definitely not trying to take her nap. That's why I just decided to
She's only nice to her mama.
include her in our video. Say hi. She'll say it. But anyway. Yeah, so as far as that first meeting, how I first felt comfortable even going was because he said that he knew my dad. And I was like, okay.
She didn't believe that I really knew who her dad was. And I don't even know how I put one and two together.
My Facebook. You went on my Facebook
Yeah.
and then the relationship status. So my dad was outside washing one of his cars, and then so I was like, hey Dad, like, do you know this guy named Algernon? And he was like, oh yeah, he's a pretty cool dude. And then I was like, okay. So like, I felt better about going because like my dad knew him, so it wasn't just me going to meet a stranger because I wasn't about that life.
Sure. But, yeah, so...
I mean, because you just meet people online, but that don't mean that they're going to be who
there
they
are
say
some
they
real
are.
nutcases
So gotta,
online.
yeah, especially the preachers. You got to watch out for them.
What is that supposed to mean?
Nothing. Only a hit dog gonna holler, so what's up?
I got your hit dog.
Let me
Anyways,
check that real quick.
Mary. Hey there, mama. Hey there, mama. Hey, daddy's little mama.
Okay.
So once she found out that her dad knew me or whatever, she felt at ease. So yeah, that was our first meeting. I mean, it was nothing, like she said, romantic
so
up
short.
until that
Yeah.
point. We were just friends. We would Skype. I think you're probably the last person I ever talked to on Skype. We would
Oh, that's because
Skype.
I didn't have an iPhone at the time.
She was living her life beneath its privilege.
Shut up.
Pray for her. She was
Android.
back in a backsliding condition. She wasn't apostolic.
Right.
She was at an Android.
Apostolic.
Chinese woman. Going to the crack house. My Lord. Anyways, yeah, so Shay didn't have an Apple iPhone, so we would Skype. What else did we do? What do you think of?
Blackberry?
Blackberry Messenger.
BBM. Yeah. Blackberry Messenger.
I really like Blackberries. I feel like I would want one now.
Mm-hmm. They still sell them.
Yeah. Give me another line and we just give me a Blackberry now. Be my ministry line. Anyway, so we would Skype and all of that other stuff. Uvu, I think, too.
Yeah.
And we would talk. I was away in college in Marshall, Texas, so I would come here periodically. Every few months when school was out or on breaks and stuff. Mm-hmm. But, you know, we talked, and the thing was, you know, she started having feelings for your boy. That's about that second or third time we met, maybe.
That preacher's lying to lie. Go ahead.
Ain't nobody lying.
Okay,
You didn't have feelings for me?
I can tell you the exact moment in which I knew that I liked you. But go ahead.
Anyways, so after the first time seeing each other, we saw each other again at a concert. It was at a church. Lillian Lloyd was preaching.
He acted like he didn't even know who I was.
I didn't. You had lost like a whole person.
He was like 30 pounds, bro. Be quiet.
So he pretty much, like, she was sitting behind me and she tapped me and she like spoke to me. And I didn't recognize her, and people speak to me all the time and I don't know who they are. I just speak back. I figure they know me from church or something like that.
That's the second time treated me like a groupie, yeah, man. Go ahead.
It hit me later on who she was.
And you didn't even tell me you was out here.
I thought you knew. I'm sure you did.
Either I didn't know you were going to be at the concert or I didn't know you were in LA. Period.
You probably definitely know I was in LA. Anyway, you wasn't my girl at the time. I didn't have to tell you nothing. Anyways. Telling these women to be wanting these privileges before their time.
Okay.
Anyways, I didn't recognize her initially. But then I realized who she was. So I think the next time I saw her, I invited her to come hear me preach again.
No, your mom's house.
No, that was after you came to hear me preach. That was the next day.
Oh, okay.
She came to hear me preach, her and Deja Vet.
My homegirl.
Her homegirl. Maurice TT, one of her TTs. So they came to hear me preach, and I don't know. She must have had a little Jesus seasoning on her that day.
Why?
I don't know. You caught my eye. She caught my eye. Like this church I was preaching at, they were kind of a little dramatic. So you know, they had me walk down when I was ready, or they were ready for me to come in. They had me walk like down the center aisle, and I saw her and like stopped and spoke to her. But, yeah, she looked cute. So after church, I was leaving. I think I had stayed home. I think that was the semester I stayed home from school. So I was going back to school that same week. So the next day, my family was giving me like a going away dinner. So I invited Shay to come over and come to the going away dinner, which she did, which surprised me. I think you brought me something, didn't you?
I think it was a Starbucks gift card.
I don't remember, but anyways.
A gift.
Brought me a little gift and everything, came and met my family for dinner. I'm not going to tell the mac and cheese story. The dinner was hilarious. My mom was supposed to be making macaroni and cheese, and we, just sitting around waiting. That was the last thing that was being made. We sitting around waiting on the mac and cheese.
Over an hour.
How about the oven wasn't even on, y'all? The oven wasn't on. We sitting there waiting for nothing. So, long story short, I guess my phone must have went off, and Shay saw my girlfriend at the time was on my wallpaper.
My God.
So I had a girlfriend at the time. And like I said, initially it was like no feelings. And I am a believer that guys and girls can be friends without any type of romantic feelings.
How fine I am, child.
So let's talk about your friends you got then. How fine you are.
Tell your story.
Are they behaving themselves?
Tell your story.
Do they need me to go between my mattress?
Tell your story.
Anyways, a girlfriend at the time, but we were just friends or whatever. So it was a couple of months afterwards. I guess Shay realized she had feelings for me, and she, was a honest woman, which I must commend her on. She, cut off all ties and communication with me. She broke up with me before we were a couple, because she did have feelings for me, and didn't want to interfere with anything or what have you.
It didn't have nothing to do with y'all relationship. It was just like, I just believe that God wouldn't send you somebody else's spouse. Like, God can't bless me if I'm wrapped up in you and you already got some girl that you're talking to. That's not how that's gonna work. Like,
you're right, because how you get them is how you lose them.
Exactly, and I didn't want that on there. So like, once like I realized that I was like having more than friend feelings, I just felt like it just wasn't right, and I wouldn't want my guy to be talking to somebody else. Like, even if it was a friend or non-friend level, but yeah.
Yeah, so she broke my heart.
He had invited me to preach. No, to go hear him preach, but we would have had to drive together because it was in Riverside or something. So I just wrote a letter and then I read it. My voice was all shaky.
And read me a letter. I'm on my way to preach in Riverside, and she breaks up with me. Broke my heart.
I didn't break up with him. We were not together, but I just know that you have to have some kind of heart. Like, you can't be out here just doing any and everything.
This is true. So, yeah, that's how it happened. She broke my heart, and apparently this was a summer of heartbreaks because after she broke up with me, I actually told my girlfriend about it. How stupid was I? Well, she didn't break up with me, but after she cut me off and didn't want to be my friend anymore, I told my girlfriend. Apparently, I had it bad, didn't even know it. So, shortly thereafter, my girlfriend, the only thing was related to that, but it was just time to part ways, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But she broke up with me, or that's the way the story really goes. I'm sure it's been told different, but anyways, that's how it actually happened. She opened the door. I said, hey, maybe this ain't working out for neither one of us.
Bye-bye, baby.
My chest hurt. So that ended. So in the back of my mind, it was not like an immediate thought, but I was wondering. I said, I wonder, should I hit Shay up? And I thought about it, prayed about it, asked my closest friends at the time about it, and they told me so I hit her back up.
And why is that? That's so significant for you, because you're very stubborn.
I am very stubborn,
so
and that's nothing
so
like that. Is nothing like anything I would ever do. First of all, because I don't like nobody that don't like me. Let's start there. And
it wasn't even that I didn't like you. I liked you, but I couldn't like you.
Yeah, well, you had already kicked me to the curb one time, so. Anyway, so that was so out of my element and unlike me, but I reached out to her, let her know, hey, I'm not looking for no relationship right now. I'm not trying to, get into anything or anything like that, but, I'm single. I would love for us to go back to being friends or what have you. So I told her, I was coming back to town soon, would love to see her. So I came back to town. She picked me up.
She's asleep.
Yes, baby. I was wondering why she's breathing so. She was just sucking my thumb.
Oh, I'm sorry, baby.
disturbing her sleep.
Oh, baby. Okay, good.
She don't say that. See, I don't say that when you snoring about.
I
Anyway,
know,
so
where's her head falling?
Shay picked me up and we went to the Cheesecake Factory.
Lay her down some.
Oh, my chest.
You okay?
Yeah.
What's wrong with your chest?
I don't know. So we went to the Cheesecake Factory, and that's where we had our first date at the Cheesecake Factory.
And that was my first time having the chocolate cheesecake. My shoe having dessert.
And the chocolate coupe.
Having first time having dessert, child. Dessert, the cheesecake.
You never had dessert?
Not really. Only at home.
That's terrible. So anyways, you can tell your side of the story.
No, I agree with that.
It's not how videos work. You got to tell your side of the story.
Okay, so...
Gotta talk
Okay, so once Algernon hit me up...
how did you feel in that moment when I hit you up?
I was shocked, number one, because I almost forgot about you, to be honest.
Ooh, she forgot about your boy. Now she on here lying. The preacher's wife lying.
I swear. I was moving on with my life because I knew that I had to just move on.
I have nobody's memory or afterthought.
You're unforgettable, babe.
I know.
For the most part, I felt like I was happy that he did, and I was glad that he didn't want to just jump into a relationship because he was like my first real relationship.
So she say.
Yes, he was my first boyfriend. And I just wasn't into, like, a lot of things, and I was kind of new to everything. Like, before I had met Coop, I haven't even had my first kiss. So, everything was new.
She was a saint?
Yes.
So she said.
So, I was just glad that he wanted to be my friend because I wasn't into, like, just moving super quick or just things. Like, a lot of guys that had interest in me just wanted to talk about sex all the time, and Algernon wasn't that person. Like, he was, like, just my friend. Like, I remember one time he called me, and I was sick, and I was just, like, almost choking to death because he was just making me laugh so much. And that's, like, what I wanted. I wanted somebody who could be my friend. I wanted somebody saved. Like, for real saved, but I didn't know. She
didn't know she was going to get somebody to be saved.
I didn't know he was going to be a preacher and do all of this, so I wasn't ready. So, yeah, I didn't know God had that in store for me.
Jesus getting you ready for that great day.
I mean, because nobody in their right mind aspires to
Oh,
be
there
with
are
a preacher.
some people, but they're not in their right mind, as you said.
Nobody aspires to be with a preacher because they're a lot of work. But anyway, I was happy that he reached out and wanted to be my friend and wanted to take things slow because that's where I was at. So I was honored that you came back around because that took a lot of pride. Like, you put your pride aside just to come back again after I let you go.
It just sounds so cruel.
Well, I am mean at sometimes, but I wasn't being mean. I wasn't being mean. I just
mean
knew,
all the time.
I just knew
all the time.
I just knew what God had for me, and that picture wasn't it.
And the one thing I can say, or I can appreciate, is that you didn't settle for anything less than what you deserved. And that's just a good example to many women, young ladies. I mean, you don't have to settle for less than your worth. Dust settles, so you don't have to. So just be patient and give it time and wait on who and what God has for you. You won't have to compromise for the person that God has for you. You won't have to do anything to compromise your God-given integrity or who you are, or your values, to have who God has for you. You don't have to share who God has for you.
Yeah, and that kind of reminds me back to even before we started dating. I always just say a prayer like, God, if he isn't for me, just remove him from my life.
She tried to pray me away.
And I was praying him away.
And I prayed the same prayer. I said, God, if this ain't your will, tear it up and don't let it be on me.
Like, well, maybe God, you didn't hear me. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, I just pray for everybody that was in my life previously because, I mean, clearly they left and they didn't have good intentions. So that's why I always prayed that prayer and he never left. So I felt like, well,
where was I going to go?
Out of my life? You didn't have to die. You just couldn't stay in my life.
I was going to go out the front door, come in the back door. You ain't getting rid of me, baby.
No, I wouldn't. But yeah. So what happened after that? Oh, we went on our first date and we just dated for just shy of 5 years. I was like, all right, preacher.
What's the rush?
All right, preacher, what you gonna do? You know,
what is the rush?
I wanted to be married.
I'm enjoying Jesus.
I wanted to be married and I wanted to have a family.
Anyways,
we
there was no rush.
Family.
You have to understand. We have
you.
to understand the timing of God and understand that His time, our timing, is not His timing. His time and seasons, our time and seasons rather, is in His hands. So you know,
Ecclesiastes 3:11.
He makes everything beautiful in His own time. You got to give Him His time.
Yeah.
If we would have gotten married before that time,
I agree.
we would probably be in divorce court.
Well, yeah, we had a lot to learn.
We had a lot to learn, a lot of growing to do.
Yeah, we did go through a lot. Nothing crazy, but we did go through a lot during our relationship that I feel like helped us in our marriage we already knew how to face a lot of the problems maturely. Yeah.
Praise the Lord.
So what was your dating experience like with me? Like what attracted you to me or what made you keep pursuing me?
I don't know. I liked you. You were cute. You were smart. You were creative. You just want me to hear me say nice things about you.
Yeah.
You were creative. You know, very dedicated, determined, disciplined. You know, we didn't talk after a certain time of night at first.
10 o'clock.
And then we didn't keep
Talk to you later.
And then we did not, even when we were dating, like she had a curfew, so, you know, it wasn't no late night, nothing. It wasn't no overnight, nothing.
And that just comes with having a daddy, though. Because my dad, he instilled a lot of things in me as far as, like, just males. Don't let them mistreat you.
Father Charles, boy.
Yeah, my dad
that's the man.
He was like a great example of how a man should treat his wife, and I'm glad that I have that in you.
Yeah. He was, actually, which is funny, you heard her say that I knew her dad knew me. He was like our youth president at my home church when I was growing up, and he was just, you know, I don't know, it was something about him that just seemed like, you know, a person to look up to, and he was like a very, very much so an inspiration to me as a younger kid, younger preacher. I think he was still youth president when I brought my first message. So you know, we thank God for godly examples, and you know, I'm grateful for the upbringing that she had, which you know is similar in some ways to the upbringing that I had.
He thought I was gonna be that coach girl with the big old hat and all the stockings with the little shimmer in it, looking like my granny.
I don't want you to look like a granny.
At all the conventions, okay? Listen.
This thing right here has a mind of her own.
I'm just playing. Go ahead.
I don't pay her no attention.
I just play.
But yeah. So like I said, our upbringings are similar. So, you know, in that aspect,
it was just easy.
Yeah, in that aspect, you know, we have a lot of similarities. We are alike in a lot of ways. However, when it comes to other stuff, we don't see eye to eye. We're complete and total opposites. We don't like none of the same stuff, really. The stuff that she like and enjoy does nothing for me.
We do have some like plays, and we like some music.
Some music.
Don't talk about the car rides, but go ahead.
No, you and my sister-in-law gonna get off of me and my my music playlist.
I like the funeral songs. You hear me?
I like a plethora of gospel music. I like You know, the old stuff.
From
I
the
like hymns. I
1919 when
love
Bishop Mason
call
was.
it. No, I don't listen to no
Yeah,
Bishop
you
Mason.
do.
No, I don't.
I said around that time the songs.
No, I don't.
Yes,
Anyways,
you do.
no, I have a roommate that, in college. He used to listen to like Mahalia Jackson and C.O.
Lord.
Franklin. I don't listen to that. But like I listen to like old choir songs. Like that's when the music was good. I like a plethora of stuff. I like traditional music. I like contemporary. You know, I like a lot of things. I like, you know, the Clarks, the Paces, the Winans. Who else I listen to?
I don't know. They so old.
That's her problem. She don't know nothing. Don't know nothing to nobody. But you know, that's the kind of music. Pretty much, you know, James Moore, Vanessa Bell, Daryl Coley. You know, these are the people that I listen to. Ricky Dillard,
We get it. I listen to
Hezekiah
Ricky.
Walker,
Yeah, I do.
John P. Key.
I do.
You know, these are some of the people that I listen to. Thomas Whitfield. You know, music like that. So, anyways, they talk about my music because it's not what they like or listen to, and they be like, you know, I done had enough. Give me the phone. Give me
right, just pass it back.
Like you in my car, you about to be walking. How did I even get on it? What was I talking about?
Because we're so different.
Yeah, so we're so
Other
different.
aspects.
Like even movies, like if we have a movie night, her choice of movie, it's just like not something I would enjoy. What I put on, she go to sleep right on. Like a couple of weeks ago, I was watching a Hillary documentary.
Hillary Clinton.
I was interested in seeing it. I want to know about her life. I want to know about her story, her struggles. You know, I wanted to learn and know more about her. Because y'all don't like her, and I'm just trying to figure out why. But anyways, I ain't gonna get into that.
I did or didn't like her. I just didn't want to
So
watch
she
her.
didn't want to watch it. She wanted to watch something else. We agreed upon watching Space Jam, which is one of my favorite childhood movies. This thing goes to sleep within 10 minutes. Put up all this fuss about me watching Hillary to go to sleep in 10 minutes watching Space Jam. So you know what I did, right? I finished watching Space Jam, but right afterward I put Hillary right back on. Yes, I did. So we are like opposites when it comes to things like that. I like a good action movie. You know, got to be some fighting, some shooting, some killing.
I don't mind that though.
Then she's talking about me watching Law and Order all the time. And then, guess what? Every time she turned on the TV, Law and Order.
I had to start from season 1, okay?
Anyways, I don't think I've ever seen season 1.
Season 1, episode 1. You ain't a real one.
So anyways, yeah, we're opposites in some ways, and then we're like in a lot of ways. I mean, what are some of the things that we're like in?
We both don't like math.
I don't know. You like it just a little bit.
Anyway, so like he was saying, we're a lot alike in a lot of ways, and we're a lot different. Like I feel like I'm more outgoing when it comes to certain things. Like a lot of times people see me and I'm more quiet and reserved, but deep down, like I'm pretty. I like to have fun, like wholesome fun. Like who doesn't like going to the roller coasters or like zip lining or just doing adventurous stuff. I would say that that's more my expertise, where Algernon would be like, I'll hold your jacket type stuff.
Right.
Like, so.
I'll hold a purse at that point. I ain't getting on a roller coaster.
Like when I went to Canada, I know that there was no way that you would have walked across the thing that I walked across, that bridge.
Probably not.
It was like a 300-foot drop, and you just walk across it to the other side. Yeah, it was like the best thing. Like you'd be scared, but it's just like, dang, what a time to be alive. Like, you know what I mean? That's how I feel. And Coop would have been like,
What happens if you fall?
And you gonna go see Jesus.
Everybody ain't gonna make it.
Yeah, so we're a lot alike in a lot of ways. I feel like we're different enough to keep it interesting, and we're a lot alike just to keep us together. Like where we agree, it counts.
That's true.
Our values, yeah. So yeah, is there anything else you want to talk about?
I think that's about it. That's how we first met.
Oh, so I asked you about the dating and what attracted you to me.
What attracted you to me?
It wasn't even like physical attraction at first. Like,
Are you trying to say I'm ugly?
I wouldn't say that you were ugly, but I just didn't.
I was just on cute real bad. Did you agree?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying, like, I didn't find you like that attractive at first. Like, it wasn't nothing like that.
Somebody been looking at the Honda Pilot.
Honda Pilot, yes. If you know anybody giving them away, let me know. What you doing?
Business.
Well, yeah. So, what attracted me to Algernon was just like he was different. And to be honest, I've always wanted a country boy. And at first, I thought he was gonna be a Hispanic, but
I ain't gonna say nothing about that because that ain't gonna go over well.
Shut up. So I never really saw myself dating a black guy, or just, I would have liked to, but just like the quality of guys are out there, it just seemed like a lot of the values that I had matched the Hispanic culture at the time. So a lot of people were surprised when you were black.
I'm trying to remember when I first really met your family.
No, but I wanted to share what I liked about you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I liked that he was from the country, country boy. He had kind of an accent when I first met him, but it's kind of gone away.
A southern drawl.
Yeah, so I love that he was from the country because I've always wanted to go there, but I don't know how I would do now since I'm older and I'm used to LA. But
Leah. Leah.
I do like to think that I have a little bit in me because of my grandparents. But I did like Algernon because he was different. He didn't treat me like everybody else treated me. Like, he was a true gentleman, and he always thought of me and brought me gifts and just was always concerned about me, making sure that I was okay. And I just felt like I was always looking for somebody who was similar to my dad. So I found that you had a lot of characteristics like him. So that's what made me feel safe, because a lot of women just want to feel safe and secure, and you provided that.
Beautiful.
Yes, so we're going to go cut off here, and that was just our story on how we met. And I hope that you guys will go ahead and follow us on our social media. We will have it in the description box below. And what's the name of our channel? What's our wedding hashtag?
Finally, the Coopers.
Finally, the Coopers. So we'll see you guys in our next video. Bye.